Question 9. What do you focus on during the off season in CrossFit? Okay. Without giving the annoying answer of it depends, I'll say it depends. Because it depends on what you actually need to work on as an individual. Relatively speaking, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses? But we can make some generalizations here.
Okay.
Should I start?
Yep.
My first generalization is, generally speaking, in an off season, our training looks a lot less like the sport. So basically, if you think about what the sport tests, and again, we've got to go back to one of our previous questions, which what does a sport look like? So if you finished your season at the CrossFit Open, that looks very different to someone who did the quarterfinals. That looks very different to someone who did the CrossFit Games. But essentially speaking, when we're prepping for those competitions, in the lead up to it, we're doing a lot of those type of tests. Yeah. So we're doing lots of barbell cycling, we're doing lots of high intensity conditioning, we are doing lots of gymnastics under fatigue. We are not doing very much isolated work. We're not doing very much slow time and attention. We're not doing very much movements or skill work in isolated settings.
Yeah.
We're not building really long, slow capacity with endurance work. So essentially, all those things I just named is kind of what we want to do in our off season, because the off season is a time for us to repair and regenerate and rebuild from the damage and the strain we put on our bodies, but also to build the foundations to allow us to express more capacity intensity as the season rolls on. So anyway, it's a timely question, because right now we are in an off season and we are all doing the Live, Perform, Compete program, and what that looks like, we've got lots of slow time and attention. We've got lots of pauses at end ranges. So basically finding out where our weakest positions in every lift are, which is generally speaking when we are in a lengthened position of tissues. Yeah. And we're putting pauses in there because this is the time to rebuild those positions. Yeah. Loads of isolation work. We're doing a lot less high intensity metabolic conditioning. Yeah. Doing a lot more monostructural, longer pieces, bouts of work. Lots more, not even right now to be honest, but it would be more isolated skill work in a less fatigue based setting. What else?
No, I think you nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Like, you see the implementation of like, okay, instead of building to heavy lifts right now, we're doing positional work. Instead of doing, it doesn't mean we take things out entirely. We still do things like today on the LPC for the Perform crew, we had some toaster bar. It's not like we're not doing any gymnastics, but it's drip fed in such small doses that it's not detracting from our ability to recover or to be able to hit the next few days with the stimulus that we intend. The idea of like your off season is to start to feel healthy again, because as we push towards that back end of the season where we're really pushing ourselves and what we're capable of, it's normally when like the niggles start to creep in and like we're stressed, we're tired, like there's all these other things. So it's like literally a chance to decompress. I've always said it and I say it the same every single time, but it feels good to feel good, and you forget what it's like to feel good in those moments until this part of the season. I think that year after year after year after year, I definitely neglected off seasons and definitely neglected the validity of having them, but I didn't know, and I think it hasn't been until probably the last couple years really for me that I see so much validity in even having time out of the sport, like getting out and doing something different just for a little bit, because you can afford to do it. Like, you've got the whole year to build up for it. I know I'm not going to lose everything that I had. I will feel more refreshed. And again, this is me coming from someone where it's like, okay, maybe the last bit of my season was a very high competitive level. If I'm just like getting to the open and then going again, like I feel like I'm okay. Yeah. But if it's been like a dragged out 4 to 6 months of competing, I think just having something, getting out and doing your hobbies, like for me, it's going on hikes and walks outside. It's going, surfing or paddleboarding or anything in the water. Like, I love it. But then I get the itch again, like, all right, I'm ready. And it's not unless I have that itch that I know it's actually going to be beneficial to get back, because then I'm going to have a burnout sooner, or I'm not going to feel as motivated, or I'm not going to really want to follow a program. Or I think that that's at least my experience and what I've learned.
Yeah, nice. I would say exactly the same. Like, I never truly respected the importance of an off season. Yeah. And I actually just put a post out recently. I shared it with our process program community about some of the things that I've learned and some of the psychological pieces that went into why I behaved the way I did. So like why I jumped back on a program really fast, why I refused to take time off, why I wanted to get back into structured training straight away. And I kind of shared, I think I put this as an Instagram post as well. I'm pretty sure I did. But you know, so just for where I'm at right now, you know, we're now almost 4 weeks post quarterfinals. I still don't feel fully recovered.
Yeah.
Like I really don't. Like my sleep quality is still pretty average. I'm still waking up in the mornings. I feel pretty average still.
Just to let everyone know, Ed's nickname is Mr. Glass.
Yes.
It was actually quite funny, inspiring to watch him. No, seriously, it was actually like inspiring to watch you do the quarterfinals. I mean that, like, it's a genuine comment. I definitely am very impressed by you a lot of the time, but it was also very funny to see how broken he was. Like Lottie, one of the coaches here, was like, okay guys, we went to like this dinner farewell thing, not, you know, like a celebratory dinner and a drink after, and then everyone was kind of going home, and Lottie was like, oh, I'm gonna walk home. He's like, you what? You're gonna walk? I couldn't even imagine walking right now.
She actually did a bodyweight lunge just as a joke, and I was like, wow, like there's no way I could do a lunge. I remember even after that last workout, Lou jumped onto a 30-inch box.
Yeah.
And I was like, I actually couldn't jump onto a 10-inch box right now.
Yeah, Ed's maybe in his early 30s, but he's looking like his late 30s.
Mid 30s. So yeah, well, I'm 4 weeks post quarterfinals and I still don't feel, and this has been the longest, but this has also been the most self-aware I've ever been in my life.
Yeah.
So like I know what markers I'm looking for to tell me whether I'm feeling good, and I know I'm just not there yet. So previously I probably felt like this and would have just been like a week, take half a week off, and then just get straight back into training and just suffer. Niggles and injuries never went away, and I basically just lived in a perpetual state of stress for next year until the next Cross Open came around. So this time what I'm trying to do is like, I'm not going to go back to anything remotely hard until I actually feel ready to rock and roll. My joints and stuff are all starting to feel better, which is great. I just don't have like the urge to want to do it yet. And so something else I'm doing right now, my off season, which kind of alludes to the question as well, is I'm actually only training 4 times a week at the moment. I haven't trained on a Saturday for the last 4 weeks.
Wow.
Which this is the first time I've done 4 days a week, probably in the last 8 years of CrossFit training.
No, that's really interesting.
And I think I'm going to do this for the entire, at least the first cycle, which is a 6-week cycle, maybe even the second cycle, until I still like feel really ready to rock and roll. Then I'll probably add the 5th day back in. But right
to which
now,
you'll take the next 6 weeks as deload.
Exactly. I'm already questioning when I'm going to deload. But I don't need a deload. But I also haven't progressed past the 10 kg dumbbell in the last
That was quite funny. I'm so sore. What?